definitely with Wella, with a brand like Wella who's been around for 140 years. A lot of the moms and grandmothers probably know us, and today the cues of beauty and how people learn about products, hair color, and what they use have evolved because of the research online. From a customer experience standpoint, right? It's different, but at the end of the day, it's about the consumer, so it's the same in that way. It all starts with insights and really understanding them. I think at some point, some of it is really data-driven, and at some point, that's really more on the soft side, right? Really getting to know them and what drives them. And I think a combination of having that hard data points as well as a soft touch to really seeing them as human beings also will make the whole, CX strategy more meaningful.
I think that is the same for a large chunk of different industries. Different behaviors, consumer behaviors require different outreach methodologies and different channels and different content. I think when you look at that, you need to look again from cradle to grave, so to speak, end to end, customer lifetime value. How do behaviors change over time, and how do individual consumers, move through different needs bases in their lives? I think on that end, we're not too bad. Engage, listen, don't assume, and try to bring them into the design process as well, because you will not figure it out, they won't tell you.
Yes and no. I think the way and the lens I look at it is digital adoption, and very often you have to meet customers at where they want to be met. In certain countries, for example, customers like using Line. In others, it's Facebook. In others, it is other tools out there. So it's not a one size fits all. It's really meeting the customer where they want to be met and where they are most comfortable with being met, and then fulfilling their needs. You cannot just have a portal and expect people to come to the portal. If they like to use Facebook, you've got to integrate that into the tool that they are used to using, and that's what drives customer adoption. So that's going to be key as we kind of customize our solutions in Asia. So in terms of managing a new generation, I think every customer has to look at digital adoption. New customers, especially young customers today, do not want to call a contact center. I think my children would be horrified to lift up a phone and actually talk to someone. They would prefer to go online and actually have a digital interaction rather than lift up and actually be on hold and then speak to someone at customer service. So customers today, especially the younger generation, are asking for more and more self-help tools. So the question is, how do you provide them with those tools? And it's a win-win for the company as well as for the consumer, because the young customers get a digital experience. For a company, it reduces the cost of operations because you reduce the amount of manual touch that's in the process. So it's a win-win for everyone. So we welcome the new generation. I think we just have to meet them where they want to be met.
Yes, it is. It's finding the right persona, I think. Again, go back to data sets. What are the behaviors that you can mine from the data and kind of personalize towards that, and look at how each generation reacts to certain data points and how they actually do call to action to each data points, and then you'll be able to successfully cater towards their needs. Listening to them, being really sensitive towards the changes that they want to bring. I think a lot of people say, hey, we got to listen, but not actually listening. Listening is also looking at the nuances of behavior that the new generation are bringing. I myself have a very young Gen Z at home, and he's very opinionated in what he likes and what he dislikes, and it's completely opposite. Some of it are completely opposite of me. So I've kind of took the time to actually listen to what's important to him, and then, kind of surface it back. Okay, let's do this instead. So I think that's something that we, as the, Gen X, the boomers, need to do.
Managing customers across different generations is definitely a huge challenge, and takes a lot more effort, lot more resources, because you're now having to look at managing multi-generations. And whilst you can see your customers moving to digital in the millennials and after, those who are born after, the rest perhaps can still be more interested in the traditional forms of customer interaction, which means you just have to then, in order to provide a great customer experience, you have to really cater to all the different segments across all generations, and that's an extremely challenging task, really. I would say, although you may not see so much traction and though traction is fairly slow in going to the digital spaces in digital customer experience, just to keep at it, because I think if we are putting platforms, processes, and solutions, propositions in place for the future, then it is best that you adopt the various technologies that are available. Perhaps one example is like the one I told you, which is what would customer experience look like in the metaverse. Another could be a digital twin, right? What's having a digital twin? A challenge perhaps might be when customers have to engage with machines more and more. How do you humanize digital care? And of course, I think I'm really, really passionate about employee experience and also journey mapping. So for employee journeys as well as customer journeys, and what are the tools available for orchestrating such journeys so that you don't have to really do them manually. I'd say a combination of any of those would be interesting.
Yeah, managing multi-generation customers is a challenge for a lot of businesses, and Fujifilm Business Innovation is no different. I would say we have a lot of customers that are used to having on-site service, they prefer to interact over the phone, and we need to make sure those channels and that type of service and support is available. But certainly the younger generation, they don't even want to use email necessarily, so they prefer to use chat and some of the other channels. And quite frankly, the generations coming in, even younger generation, the challenge with that one is attention span. As this TikTok generation comes into the employment of our customers, their patience of waiting online beyond 20 seconds is becoming something of a challenge for us. So if we want to hold them on the line for a couple of minutes to remote support things, that's quite a shift. So we need to also be flexible in managing that different type of end user and type of customer. I think the key is to make sure within reason and within the business constraint that we can offer as many of the channels that those customers want and try and make that experience seamless so that we can measure it regardless of whether it's coming in by phone, by email, through any of the many types of chat channels. I think it's important to make sure that that omni-channel experience is available so that the newer generation can be catered for as well.
Well, I found that what has worked for us is actually storytelling. I think the new group of customers do not want to be just sold an ad. Storytelling, third-person point of view kind of stories actually help the brand to reach out to this new group of customers.